Hi, I'm Brian Ives from Beasley Media Group. I'm the host of How I Wrote That Song. This series is a group effort between us, BMI, HD Radio, and we're powered by Yeti mics. Thank you, Yeti. So today we're talking to singer-songwriter Lauren Alaina. You know her songs Ladies in the 90s, Doing Fine, and her current hit, Getting Over Him. You know, not everyone you hear on the radio writes their own songs, and that's okay. But Lauren is equal parts singer and songwriter. Thank you so much for joining us today, Lauren.
Thank you. What an intro.
I'm sure ready to go out on the road, and I'll ask you about that after we, talk about some of your songs. But your new one that we're hearing on the radio all the time is Getting Over Him. So, talk about writing that, and even, you could have written it all just from like your point of view and not had this sort of dialogue with John Party. It's almost a movie casting decision. Why decide to have a co-star? You don't just sing the song, you co-wrote it, you have ownership over it. Why bring in another voice, and why him?
I got this idea. I had gone through 2 really crazy breakups, and I'd never really been single for a long length of time since high school. And I was kind of like casually dating this guy, and it didn't work out. I mean, it was super casual. Like, we went on a couple of dates, whatever. It wasn't a thing really, but it was nice to be like flirting with someone again. And when it kind of fizzled out, one of my friends said, if his only purpose was to help you get over that last guy, great. And so I wrote down, he was my get over him guy. Then when I went into the writing session with Emily Weisband, who I work with a lot, and Paul DiGiovanni, who is actually my producer, and I also write with a ton, I brought this idea up, and I was like, I want it to be like a dirty country sound. And I actually prepped Paul with that, and he's an amazing musician, and he makes tracks. He sent me some options, and the ba-da-dum, bam, ba-da-da-dum. He sent me that one, and it was just like a loop. And I was like, that's the one. And so when we got in, I brought this idea up to Emily, and she loved it. And we wrote the chorus, and then we wrote the first verse. And when we were preparing for the second verse, I was like, do you guys think we can make this a duet and tell the male perspective as well? And so we just kind of created this character from the other side of it. And when we were done with it, we got another songwriter in town to actually sing on the demo. And I was listening to it, and I was like, wow, we described John Party. It literally sounds like a description of John Party. He's the definition of going out and having a good time on the weekend. And that's basically what this song is about, just 2 people flirting in a bar. And I have been in a lot of bars with John Party. I've never flirted with him. He's married, and he's like my brother, but he plays that role really, really well. So I just called him and said, hey, I've got this song, no pressure, but I think you could be really cool for it. And I just texted it to him, and he said yes immediately. And wow. We got in the studio, and now it's the single, and it's doing really well for us, and we're really excited about it.
So let's talk about one of your older hits, Ladies in the 90s. The references, I'm guessing, were yours, though, because you were born in 94?
I was. That's the first line. I was born in 94.
I mean, I almost think you would have been too young for Britney and TLC. Even the Dixie Chicks, you were probably like 3 when those songs came out, right?
Well, like my mom says the first song she ever remembers me singing was You Were Mine by the Dixie Chicks. So I was heavily influenced by all of those women. And my family, I'm the baby of the family, of the grandchildren. So I hung out with my older cousins, and that's all they listened to. I was pretty fortunate to be raised on some good music.
So let's talk about Doing Fine from Road Less Traveled. And I remember interviewing you at that time and wonder, when I talked to you, the songs were new. I don't even know if I talked to you before the album was even released or maybe right after. But I was like, I really wonder how these songs are going to inspire young women, or really anybody, but particularly young women who like you. And I'm glad to be able to talk to you like 5 years later or whatever it is now. I imagine you must have gotten really moving feedback from people about a song like Doing Fine.
Yeah, I would say arguably more than any other song. because it's a deeply personal song about family, and everybody's
Right.
trying to pretend they have the perfect family. And the bottom line is none of us do. And this song for me was just saying that we're all broken and we're all doing the best we can and nobody's family's perfect. And I've been able to hear a lot of really inspiring stories out there, and people relate to that song for so many different reasons, even outside of their family. Because I
Mm.
think the chorus is pretty universal in the fact that, like, it says we're all doing the best we can, you know? At the end of the day, everything's going to work out.
The line, "I'm not okay, but I'm gonna be all right." I mean, that's a really powerful line, and that line I think is why people would relate to the song, even if their situation is nothing like what you were going through. I mean, talk about that line.
I think when we were writing it, I just realized they started sharing with me their experiences and how they've gotten through them. And I was like, well, that conversation helped me heal a lot, but it wasn't like a light switch turned on and all of a sudden I was better. You know, I was healing, and the healing process takes a while to go through, and that's why it says I'm not okay, but I'm gonna be all right. We've all been there where we're kind of in the middle. We can see the light at the end of the tunnel, but it looks really, really far away.
I know it's a struggle sometimes for singers, and probably particularly female singers, to say like, "No, I'm not just here to sing the songs you're giving me. I'll do that sometimes, but I'm writing some of these." I mean, is that must have been an important thing for you to establish?
It was a conversation I had to have for sure. You know, I think sometimes people on American Idol are viewed more as like karaoke singers who are really, really good. But I've been writing songs since I was 9 years old. I
Hmm.
think I kind of had to get into Nashville and prove that, and get in the room with these other songwriters and sign my pub deal and turn in song after song after song after song after song for the community to start really believing in me. And I think the songwriters in Nashville do believe in me. Around the doing fine period, road less traveled period, when I was writing those songs, I started really feeling like I'm now bringing something to the table to them. They're not coming into the room to write a song for me. I'm coming in to write a song for me, and they're helping me do it. And I definitely felt that shift. And now, I mean, I used to be so nervous before my writing sessions. I would be like in the car thinking, "Oh my gosh, I don't know how to do this. What am I going to do?" And now I don't get nervous at all. I come in with like 4 or 5 different ideas and see which one they like the best, and that's usually what we write.
For sure, yeah. So talk about the song "Road Less Traveled," and I was wondering, I was trying to think in my mind. I guess you co-wrote that with Jesse and with Megan Trainor. Was that Megan Trainor before she was famous Megan Trainor?
I've known Megan a long time, since she moved to Nashville pretty much. We were like inseparable when she lived here. Now she's in LA and she has a family, and so we're in very different cities and stages in our lives, but we
Hmm.
still keep up with one another. But we were inseparable. She is the best. She's hilarious. She's got a great personality, great songwriter. Her career started in Nashville as a
Yeah.
songwriter, and I was one of the artists I think that she worked with early on. And we wrote Red List Traveled with Jesse, who he's amazing, and he's written a billion #1 songs, and he brings so much to the table. And that particular day, I was just fed up with the people on Facebook and people having something to say about me. And I wrote this song as a female empowerment anthem. And I told them I want to be able to sing it in a room with 20,000 people and everybody put their hands up and be proud of who they are. And we did it. And now it's really fun to see how Megan's brand is also that same theme
Yep.
of female empowerment. So it just really makes sense that we created that together. I've spoken out pretty openly about my eating disorders and how I had to see a specific therapist for that and get help for that. And I have a lot of women who have fought eating disorders or insecurities that have come to me and shared their stories. And that makes me proud to be both, because we're all insecure. We all wish there was something we could change about ourselves, but we've got to find a way to be happy with ourselves. I don't wake up every day and feel absolutely beautiful. I wake up with the uglies all the time. And when I do, I just go eat a cheeseburger or do whatever I got to do to take care of myself that day. Go to the gym, get, I work through it. I figure out a way to work through it healthily. And to be able to share that story and then to hear other people share theirs is that's what being a songwriter is all about.
Thank you so much for giving us the time. Thank you, Yeti, for the mics. We'll catch everybody else next time on How I Wrote That Song.